Today we're going to talk about how to navigate times of extreme frustration and obstacles in our life with peace, love, and grace and confidence, and how to find clarity and confidence with your project, with your thing, with what you're tackling at this very moment.
Let's guzzle down some bliss. I love you. Be blessed.
Welcome to the Blissful Breakfast. I'm your host, Breegs. We don't have Aaliyah here today, or Jade, sadly, rocking a solo episode today, but I'm honored to be here with you. I hope you can forgive the car noises. I'm kind of on the road, and I'm just so grateful that you're here. So the Blissful Breakfast, this is a reminder. It's all about helping us, me and you, to just get into a little bit more of a blissful, joyful state, to tap into that glorious fifth dimension, to tap into the joy of life, and to help us through life, to help us so when things get hard, which they will, and there will be obstacles in our life, to be able to handle those guys with like more serenity, more peace, and more level-headedness. And the more that I practice intentional bliss and intentional gratitude and all those things, the more it's easier to navigate the bullshit of life, and that's what it's all about, because we're gonna have some times where the diamond is gonna be made and purified and sharpened, and there's gonna be extreme pressure. So that stuff isn't bad. That stuff is great. It's a pain in the ass. It can be a real real bitch sometimes. But it's still beautiful. We still are manifesting in our life. We're creating that and summoning that. So, oh my gosh, it's so good. So, to clarify, I'm not blissed out all the time, but the practice of bliss, whenever I can focus my mind and intention, is my natural state, the easier it gets on a daily basis, the easier I can process situations that are not my highest alignment, situations that are really frustrating for me. So, man. So this one, I'll tell a story here, but I want us to get to together to get to a place of this restful, confident bliss, and being able to handle when things get rocky or when we're really pushing towards something. So I have an example. So I launched a Kickstarter for my card game, like this dream project I've been working on for a couple years, in November 2020. And I'd been working on it a long time. And I'm like a natural born, I'm really good at procrastinating, and just like finding excuses to play video games or do other things or hang out, or I have big FOMO, I want to get out and do it all. I want to hang out, and I don't want to miss different things. I don't want to miss out, and I'm sure a lot of us can recognize that. And it's easy. It's really easy to get distracted in life and just, go with the flow and not really do what it takes to do the things we really want to do deep in our heart. And, whatever you want to do is totally fine and acceptable. Like whatever path you're on, I think is totally beautiful and exactly where you need to be right now. So there's no judgment on what thing you want to pursue in life, or if you're not pursuing anything in life, if you're just being. I think that's also really beautiful. So I launched this Kickstarter, and so leading up to it, here we go. So I delayed it a couple times. I launched it, later than I wanted to, but everything takes so much longer than I think. And then I go on these ebbs and flows of really hustling and then really avoiding doing the hard work. And it got to the point where, this is later than I wanted, but we're freaking doing it. I wanted to launch in August or September, but we're launching November. We're launching this particular day. It's not like election day too. It's so dumb. But I just we're launching this day, and I've been suspending my life for 6 months, saying, I can't do this, can't do that because I'm working on this thing. And I just decided, we gotta launch. It's gonna be this day. And I just had to move forward. And I didn't realize how much time I needed to spend on designing the page and doing a lot of the front end visual, telling the story of the Kickstarter campaign for my card game, Wizards and Relics. This podcast is brought to you by Wizards and Relics. I'll talk about the game a little later, but I'll finish the story. So I didn't have enough time to do all the proper marketing, and I did run some like pre-marketing ads, and I have been talking about it for a long time. So I've been growing a very small email list and private Facebook group, and on my Facebook page and Instagram, just getting some buzz, some talk, some conversations. People are aware of it, but I like really didn't do the work. Like I was designing and fixing my Kickstarter page up until the launch day, and I really didn't have enough time for my pre-launch marketing phase. I honestly should have had a few more months to have a more successful campaign, and probably some more money to invest and some help with marketing and stuff. So I I was told that I needed to delay my campaign. I was on some Facebook groups, some board game Facebook groups, which is great, and building some relationships there, which is beautiful. And there was this one guy who made a comment on one of my posts who's like, wow, I've never heard of this. This looks like a gem. And his name is Michael. And turns out he is this like badass Greek entrepreneur who has like the biggest retail board game store in Greece, and is just like has this giant licensing company where he works with other creators to license their games in other languages and countries, and he helps navigate that process. And so he is kind of a boss in the world, and he said, oh wow, looks like you got a gem, but then he had sent me a message. We had chatted a little bit. I think I said thank you, oh man, and he's like I think you need to delay your campaign. I was like, what? He's like, yep, I've never heard of you. It looks like you have something, but like you're not, you don't have enough reach. You probably need to stop your campaign, work on it for another 6 months, and then relaunch. I'm like, whoa, man, that's bold. He's like, yeah, sorry if I'm being bold, but like it looks like you have something good, but I don't want you to goof it up. And I ended up doing a phone call with him, or a Skype call, or Zoom call, whatever it is. And it was awesome. He's such a generous guy, beautiful guy, and so great to talk to. He gave me a ton of advice. But it really freaked me out because I was determined, like that was my launch date, man. And I feel like I've been doing everything I can. And I can see where I'm behind on some stuff. My like pre-launch page on Kickstarter didn't get up, and I had delays with Stripe verifying my business account. And it just like I had a lot of hiccups and stuff, like starting a new business, getting a business bank account, and connecting that with Kickstarter and Stripe, and a lot of stuff just got delayed and pushed back. So there's some basic things that I kind of effed up on and really didn't, start early enough. And this guy is saying and I like put my whole life, my wife, my family, and my friends, everything on hold for so long, and built my entire life around launching in November, that like if I was to like relaunch, I feel like it'd be another 6 months of putting my family through hell and being so unavailable and just obsessed. And like, I think he was kind of right. Like I technically probably should have stopped my campaign and delayed it 6 months to have more time to do the stuff. However, I had to make a decision, and I think this story can be relevant for you, is sometimes in your life you need to make a decision, and maybe it's the right one, maybe it's the wrong one, but sometimes just making that decision is the right decision, even if it's like quote unquote the wrong one. I don't think there is a wrong decision necessarily. There's decisions that are more in alignment, and then there's decisions that are going to just get you to the next step, and you'll see, oh wow, maybe that wasn't perfect, or oh, this is what I learned. So, but this, I kind of knew, it freaked me out because it's like, damn, he's right. Like I'm really hoping I'm gonna like, generate this giant Kickstarter. It's gonna go bonkers. But I kind of knew in my heart I didn't do enough work for it. I didn't put in enough effort in the marketing and reach and generating emails and all sorts of stuff. I did a lot of good work in different areas, but and the product I think is phenomenal. It's a great game. It's really well balanced. It's glorious, man. But I knew that he was kind of right, but it just also, I think it was the right time to just launch right there. I think I needed to launch. So I decided to like disregard his advice. I listened to him. I was afraid. I was like terrified of this guy, but I pursued him anyway to do a call with him and kind of just connect with him more. And we kind of built some kind of relationship. And it did during the campaign. He actually offered to license for me to be my licensing agent, which was amazing. And I really wanted first. I wanted early on, but I ended up declining for now, and maybe I'll circle back to it, but I need to take things slow and figure out what our brand is and what we want to do as a company. So anyway, I decided to disregard his advice and launch anyway, and I think it was the right choice, but it was fucking hell. It was hard work, man. It was nuts. So I launched this project, and we generated, a good $5,000 on our first day, which seems okay, but it kind of meant there was going to be a tough journey. So my funding goal was $15,000. And so how the crowdfunding works on Kickstarter is you don't get any money if you don't reach your goal, but you build more momentum if you reach your goal sooner. And then people can say, oh, wow, this thing is legit. It's funded. These many people are in it. All right, cool. Now it seems legit. So it's not funded. It kind of scares away people. So the kind of thing for the board game industry for Kickstarter is you kind of want to fund the first day, and then you can really build momentum and generate the campaign that you want. So not funding the first day, raising $5,000, it was like, oh, it was cool. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of stuff. But then I was like, oh man, now we're at 5,000, but we need to get 10,000 more just to fund, just so I can get this game made at a minimum. And woof, man, okay, what are we gonna do here? And then it was a marathon, man. It was a marathon. I had to put in some serious work, man. I was so stressed that I wasn't gonna fund, and I had wasted so much time. And I had to just get to the point of where I think the healing part for me was accepting if I didn't fund. I almost started wanting to not fund, because then I could enjoy Christmas and stuff, and take a break, because it was so exhausting and stressful. And I was so worried and in my head, and really not choosing to be in a blissful state for a little bit of it. I ended up manifesting some sickness. Our whole house actually got COVID, and which was, oh man, it was exactly what I needed. It's funny because I'm I take cold showers and do sauna and breathing, and spend my whole life trying to just not get sick and make sure that I'm in the highest vibrational, zero pain, perfect, feeling well, eating well, all this stuff. And my wife is a little less intentional about a lot of that stuff, but my wife and my daughter, they didn't miss a beat. They kind of had a runny nose or a sore throat or whatever, or for a day they felt kind of off, but they basically didn't affect them. But I was out for a week. It was so funny. I was totally out for a week, and it was exactly what I needed. So I believe that everything, there's no coincidence, right? Everything, especially sickness or disease, is simply your body telling you something. It's communicating, and we choose everything that happens in our life. Is orchestrated. We attract into our life. So that goes for sickness and disease and all sorts of good stuff. So I definitely brought that into my life. I needed to take a break. I needed to relax and let go more and trust more. And it allowed my wife and I to sit down and start watching Lord of the Rings. And I did almost nothing on my Kickstarter for 7 days. And then I had to start work again, because I took a good week off work. And dude, I was just you got to be kidding me. I was just felt I already wasn't doing enough. And whenever I get to the point of where I'm hustling so hard and I still feel like I'm not doing enough and there's no way, and tomorrow I got to do so much more, that's when like life slaps me in the face and it's like, dude, chill out, man. You're fine. So I ended up learning how to rest, recovering, and then this is called the Mid Campaign Slump. This is right in the Mid Campaign Slump. And the Mid Campaign Slump is kind of the Kickstarter crowdfunding deal where there's a lot of excitement in the beginning of a campaign and right before it ends. But in the middle, it's just like, okay, who cares? Like, there's, you usually get a lot less backers in the middle. So I was like, I don't even know, man. I don't know, but I'm just going to surrender. I'm going to give up. I'm going to choose to rest. And then, boom, I'm going to get back at it. And we were healing up. I started, just like at a slower pace, started, sending some direct messages on Instagram, sending some voice messages, messaging people, scheduled another podcast with someone, did some more posts in some Facebook groups. And then, I just like on Thanksgiving Day when we like had this weird, goofy, like Thanksgiving dinner at home because we couldn't go to the regular Thanksgiving, we funded, and it was so weird because I was going to spend the day with family, but ended up funding, it was so beautiful. But, I think there's definitely a lesson in relaxing and letting go and having balance during stressful times. The more I realize that I'm balance my nervous system and get my like brain body coherence in place, the better I'm gonna be able to handle stressful times, so just daily practices of gratitude are huge. Challenging your body with heat or cold, so just like turning your shower on cold for a little bit in the morning, especially getting your head or your chest, those are the main receptors for cold, and that's going to really sharpen your immune system and your nervous system and balance your parasympathetic nervous system. It's going to be glorious. Another thing, getting help, getting outside help, getting, working with a naturopath or working with our tonal chiropractors. They do this tonal technique, and so they are able to balance your brain body coherence and like get your brain into a state of coherence, and that honestly helps me feel relaxed and I have no back pain and all that good stuff. So there's all sorts of different techniques. Find what works for you, but I think the daily practice of bliss and gratitude is going to go a long way when you get to the spot. So nowadays, when I encounter a situation that's hella stressful, I just slow down, I breathe, I think about the best timeline possibility. How can I show up as my king self here? And how can I just take control of the situation? Maybe I let it be, maybe I allow it to be and just observe. Or I really step into my masculine power energy and take control of the matter and come up with a solution. I had another encounter recently that was a really beautiful, and we've all been in situations where we feel powerless, right? Where you feel like you can't do anything, you have no control, can't influence the situation at all. And it's easy to kind of just like, fall into that. But, there is, what if there was a way where you could? So I had a situation where some family members, and this particular family member has been through some serious trauma in their life. And I'll just say in his life. And he's had a really crazy childhood, And he has when he has these trigger moments where he'll revert back to his childlike self, and where he couldn't really process that trauma at the time, but then now he's kind of processing, so he just freaks out, and it's kind of uncontrollable and very violent and very messed up, but like big things trigger that, this PTSD is rad and all that good stuff. And so he had one of these sessions, and my other family member called me and to help, see if I could just help dispel the situation. And those situations are really frustrating because I'm not physically there. And when they're in that state, it's really, you can't reason with them. And, I love them so much, but it's just so hard because I feel like I'm powerless to help. This time I pulled back, and sometimes you get frustrated. It's like, I can support, in certain ways, but like when these things happen, I feel like I can't support from far away. You need to make sure you have a support network in your local space. And so sometimes I get really frustrated at that, but this time I just decided to shift my energy and shift and change how I was going to approach the situation. I decided to embody my divine masculine a little more, rise up a little more, and like, I'm going to do whatever I can. So I'm going to be on the phone, and sometimes it's hard to hear if they're, my family member, if he's screaming and if he's just going nuts and they can't hear me. But this time I think we were able to be in a situation where he could hear me. So I was talking with power, clarity, and just love. I was just bringing love into the situation. And I was speaking directly to his trauma and his fears and what was going on, just validating those things in his life. Being very honoring of the situation, validating it, not condoning the behavior, but allowing space for that situation, for the trauma of losing a loved one and something that's really hit to his trauma points. And I just fully was present. I shut the lights off. I closed my eyes, and I just projected my soul into that room, and just embodied love, and it just visualize that I was literally there, and we were gonna change that energy. We were gonna honor his experience, and we were gonna I was determined to help that situation, to help him to calm down and get to bed. And you know what? It worked. It worked. I'm so amazed and grateful that it actually worked. I was able to just channel that power and that love and that intentionality. And our thoughts are electrical vectors. Our thoughts are electrical, and our emotions are magnetic. And if you can really learn how to channel that, just like radio waves, there's waves and particles, and there's a lot of things we can't see, like radio waves, and all sorts of different waves. And so our thoughts are in a similar spectrum. You can't really see them, but they are things. And so I was really just bringing my thoughts and my emotions into that situation and sending it right over. And with the non-locality, the quantum field, it didn't really matter that they weren't physically, that I wasn't physically there. So yeah, it was such a great instance of just overpowering an impossible situation. And he got to bed, and he was peaceful and restful, and it just turned out to be just a great resolution to that obstacle. So, with back to the Kickstarter, I ended up funding that freaking Kickstarter. I raised the money. I overfunded. I got $23,000 on Kickstarter, not just 15. And, it was just a perfect amount. It was great and phenomenal. And I think I really decided to launch at the right time, even though it was kind of the wrong time, And I'm planning on launching another Kickstarter, and I've been delaying that date a couple times now. Some of it maybe is due to my lack of work. I go in these phases of really hustling and then really delaying on the things I need to do. But on the other hand, I really got in tune with the seasons, and it's been really frustrating. I don't know if you have a hard time deciding where to go to eat, or how to plan, how to schedule things, or how to schedule your big projects or big things you're doing in your life. Sometimes it can be a pain in the ass. And so I really wanted this to be the right time. And it turned out the early spring was not the right time, It was really the right time for me to learn, to grow, to plant the seeds, to do the work. And then I think in the summer, I'm going to see things unfold. So I'm going to push my Kickstarter out to August. And around August 8th. 8/8, baby. And I feel good about that. It's going to give me ample time to build the page and do some marketing, hopefully. And I had some other delays with getting prototypes in, but I have those now, and I think things are going to be on track. But when we go through these hard situations, it can be such a pain in the ass, but there's always a gift in it. And when you're in it, sometimes if you can get clarity, if you can just take a few deep breaths, ask, what is the gift in this? What is the gift in this? What is the gift? Sometimes it's hard to see the gift, to be honest. So now, I'm going to take a moment to tell you about the sponsor of this episode. It's brought to you by Wizards and Relics. It's a phenomenal dueling card game, magical dueling card game, man. All about wizards. If you love Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, fantasy fiction, man, Brandon Sanderson, whatever it is. Patrick Rothfuss. Like if you're down with Kvoth and the Name of the Wind, dude, this game is for you. Okay, it's a bridge. It's a bridge between like the super nerdy gamers, your D&D players, your glorious I know I have some strategists listening, and some Magic the Gathering players. If you're down for the strategy, man, this game is definitely for you. But it allows you. It's a game that's a bridge to connect with your family, dude. This game is going to allow you to really connect with your nephews, your nieces, your mom, your dad, your spouse, your significant other, your wife, your husband, your partner. It's gonna bridge that gap. It's kind of intergenerational, if that's the right word. But it's a strategy game. It has the foundation of war. You just instead of just laying one card face down, you have this deck. You draw 7 cards to begin with, and you have wizards and relics. And so you just have a wizard, a cool wizard character. You pair him with a relic, which is going to boost your power, and you reveal kind of one at a time, do your abilities, and see what the other person has. And it's just highest power wins. It's so simple, but there's more things going on. There's these shrine cards that change that you can help direct and boost the powers of certain types of wizards. And certain types of wizards in this game are going to have advantages over other wizards. And so it's kind of like this glorious, simplified 2-card combo dueling game, that you can, I can play it with my 6-year-old. She can't read all the cards yet, but yeah, man, if you're like kids are 7, 8, 9 and above, they pick up this game so fast. But it's a magical game. It's near dear to my heart. I think it's insanely well balanced. I had a great team working on with it. And my homies, Adam Savage, Joe Buck, Nick Fisher, Nick Sharafano, Milton, Brady Lindquist. Holly did some awesome work early in the days. There's so many people that influences the game, and to help shape it to be something freaking glorious. So you can buy it right now on my website, wizardsandrelics.com. WIZARDSANDRELICS.com. Wizards and Relics, it's spelled out. But also mark on your calendar, save the date for around August 8th. It might be August 9th, but we'll see. But mark your calendar for August 8th. We're going to launch a new campaign for Wizards and Relics Awakening. And it's a powerful game, man. It's the next deep dive into Wizards and Relics. It's a standalone expansion, so you can play it totally by itself. It is so fun by itself, but you can also integrate it with the base set and really expand your options of play. You can draft it, you can have constructed decks and play, and with these beefed out decks, or you can just shuffle cards up and do random play and casual play. And it's a phenomenal game. But yeah, it just goes deeper. There's new types of wizards. There's a new all color wizard called the Archivist, and we might be putting out a book, and there's some new keywords and abilities, and it's honestly super fun. You can do a lot more combos and stuff with it, so highly recommend just being on board for that. But yeah, this has been a fun little journey. And again, wizardsandrelics.com, or you can go eternalrealms.co. That'll get you to kind of the same place. All right. Are we blissing out today? Is this fun? I feel like I'm really straining to talk quickly and loudly because I'm in the car and the situation isn't perfect. And my voice honestly feels a little bit like it wants a rest, but I hope you're still with me and we're jiving. I'm drinking some bulletproof coffee here. And let's just take a slow breath, and we're going to just wind down and finish off this episode, okay? We're going to take one more breath. Just breathe in some love and light, and just visualize something that feels good in your body. And then let go of any stress or anything you're holding on to. And it's Sunday, so let's do a little guilt-free Sunday, okay? If there's anything you're feeling guilty with, if you're not doing enough work on your project, you feel like you're not doing enough, that you're not enough, let's just let that go, because you are enough. You are enough. And yeah, maybe you failed. Maybe we failed at, putting in the effort, or maybe we failed at the balance of rest. I think one of the key parts of this episode is finding rest and joy and peace and being in the eye of the storm during those stressful situations. We gotta have balance, man. We gotta have balance. Just finding the time to walk outside. I've heard millionaires talk about the best thing you can do every day for your business or for performing and succeeding in life is just like take 3-hour walks. Like those are the times where you're able to connect with nature and the divine and get those great ideas you can execute on, and then execute on it. But instead of spending like 12 hours or 14 hours executing and running yourself ragged, get a good 8 hours of sleep, spend 3 hours on a walk, and then maybe spend 2, 3, 4, 5 hours executing, and maybe you'll get better results. That is quite the mind F, isn't it? That's so let's all look and see and ask our body how we can get some more balance. All right. All right. Thank you for going on this journey. I hope that when you encounter your situation, your project, your thing, maybe you're launching a Kickstarter yourself, or launching a new product, or launching something, or planning something, you're able to like tune in. I think when I had to decide, it wasn't just like, it was a lot to do physically, like with, oh my God, my life would be destroyed if I delayed my Kickstarter. But I felt into my body. There's different ways. There's like a lot of different ways to do muscle testing. I highly recommend that. I do not have a lot of practice with muscle testing. I don't think I found my technique, but you can ask your body, and there's lots of ways. Google it, and to get a yes and no answer, and that can be very helpful. It takes practice though. But I asked a lot of people close in my life, and I asked myself and sat with it, and what feels good, if you feel this kind of gut-wrenching thing in your gut, it's probably not the right thing. If you feel this sort of peace in your chest, or is it the other way around? I think Jade mentioned it in a different episode. But there's this like joy that you'll feel, this peace, inner peace. And it'll help guide you to what to do. Because making that decision can be hard, but at the end of the day, just making the decision is very important and valuable. So blessings on your next project, blessings on your next thing. I hope that you end this episode with just a little bit more bliss in your life. I love you. Thank you for listening. We're just going to rock on out here. I'm going to send you on your day, hopefully feeling uplifted, more energized. Yeah, just relax into the day, just have the affirmation that it's fun and easy, that we choose to make today fun and easy into our next project. I love you. Thank you for listening. Be blessed.